Today is Valentine's Day, and so firstly, I'm sending my love. This morning I took the opportunity to deliver a nice cup of coffee to my wife in bed, followed by a little gift to show my appreciation for everything that she does throughout the year. Valentine's is a funny one. I think that whilst of course you get people throughout the whole of the scale, you tend to get people that love it and people that hate it. And I'm not sure where I sit. I don't hate Valentine's Day. I used to really invest in Valentine's and go to town sometimes with Lids, and it was lovely, and I'm happy and pleased that I did. This year, a little bit more chilled, a little bit more relaxed. I am going to be cooking dinner for us this evening. I brought a lovely joint of beef over on the weekend, and so I'm going to be preparing that later with some roast veg and potatoes. And so I get to enjoy cooking it because it's something I enjoy doing, and the two of us get to enjoy it in the comfort of our own home with the animals. And so it's going to be a lovely evening. That's the plan of the day. There won't be any sprinkled rose petals throughout the house with candles everywhere, because I have been all consumed. The world's smallest violin's been playing for me, as yesterday I discovered that I'd deleted 2 years worth of saved documents and files in 3 separate folders: personal, business and assets. And so all of those have vanished from my desktop. Not sure why. I'm making a logical assumption that in some kind of haste I deleted them and then I emptied my trash bin. I'm not exactly sure. It's very strange. And so I spent the whole of Monday looking for these files with no joy. I used third-party recovery softwares. I actually used 3 different softwares to try to recover stuff from my empty trash folder, and I haven't had any luck. So it's just super weird that these have just disappeared. They were actually on the computer, they weren't on an external hard drive, and I had a schoolboy error. I wasn't using Time Machine. And so if you're somebody that has Apple and you have a Time Machine not running, then learn from me. Make sure you're backing up everything you're doing on your computer, because if I had have done that, I would have been able to have just backdated like a week, and hopefully I assume that that would backdate everything that was there, meaning the folders would have been returned, and then I could have saved those off to an external hard drive and then just worked out what happened and what was going on. However, I didn't. I made the assumption that iCloud was going to back up and save the files that were on my desktop. That doesn't appear at the moment to be the case. And so there's a lot of information and data that I currently don't know where it is or whether I can retrieve it or not. That's been all consuming for me, and I've not been very productive. I haven't done anything that I wanted to do over the past kind of 36 hours, which is a little bit frustrating, because if you know me, you know that I love to be productive, and I feel like this was a step back. So today I have my call at 1 o'clock with Apple to see if they can help basically identify whether these files are retrievable or not. Once I know that, I'll be able to draw a line under it and either get them back or accept that I'm not going to get those back and move on. But for now, I'm going to jump on this call, and fingers crossed we get something positive from the Apple team. So if you look at where my tags are, can you see that I've got workflow, business, personal, asset, VAT, and then the Seagate hard drive? You see those? Well, the two folders that were tagged were business and personal, and the business folder and the personal folder are the only 2 things that I'm really bothered about getting back, because they've got lots of my documents that have been saved for the last 2 years. So I've got an external hard drive which currently has the business folder that I'm trying to get back in here, and I've got documents up to 2021. So I've got all the years of the business till then, and then the last 2 years I had made the wrong assumption that because I have iCloud that everything on my desktop would have been backed up to an iCloud. So desktop and document folders were not clicked on. We were just about to settle down for our dinner this evening, and I knew that all Lumi would want for Valentine's is a box. There And so,
she dived in there like an elephant.
yeah, she loves it. So we've got Lydia's flowers in the sink, but the box being the centre of attention this evening with all the animals.
What are you doing?
She's found the hole and she's poking Porty through it.
You don't like it.
You be careful if they get you, Lumi. They'll be having your legs for dinner. You little cheeky monkey. She's poking her.
Come on, babe, it's gonna get cold.
She thinks she's so clever, doesn't she? Well, roast's come out well.
Good gravy.
Not bad for a midweek. We did beef this evening. Very happy with this joint. Lydia likes hers done medium and I like mine rare, so I've kind of done a bit of a blend. I'd say it's more medium than medium rare, but delicious. Yes. I was editing this video and I realised I'd technically left you hanging. I didn't give you an answer as to whether I actually retrieved the folders that had disappeared from my desktop. And the answer is no. I didn't manage to retrieve them. And so I've drawn a line under it and I've moved forward with my life. And I'll no longer worry about those lost files. What I'll have to do is try to reaccumulate as much detail and information, thank you Molly, as I can when those documents or files are requested for whatever reason. I know my boy, I know, he's very happy, aren't you? And so I thought I would quickly interject here and give you an answer, because that might leave some people slightly frustrated that there wasn't an answer. Also, roast was spectacular. Me and Lydia had a lovely evening. We went and crashed on the sofa afterwards, and yeah, it was nice. A very chilled Valentine's Day, and I do hope that you had a nice Valentine's Day, whether you celebrated it or not. And I'll let you continue with the video. I am just about to get busy filming some content for Again and Again Fashion, who are a brand that I'm partnering with in today's video. So just to touch a little bit on Again and Again Fashion as a company, they're based in the Netherlands and they focus around circular fashion, which means that the company don't use any raw materials. They use 100% recycled textiles. And just to go into a little bit more detail in this, the use of these textiles means that there are savings on the production and processing of cotton. So I have a couple of videos that I need to create for Instagram, and we've been working on a couple of concepts. One of the ideas is to play around with some circular camera work. I think that's an idea that we're going to do in the second video. And then in today's video that I'm going to be filming, I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the essentials that the company offer. So we're talking t-shirts, hoodies and polos. I'm actually wearing one of their t-shirts right here. So I guess the first concept is to kind of showcase how to style up the items, and then the second concept is to kind of home in a little bit more on their sustainable messaging. So without further ado, let's dive into these outfits. I'm going to show you the looks, why I've selected the looks, and also share with you a few of the pieces that you can pick up from Again and Again. The first item that I'm going to be jumping into today is this grey Essentials hoodie. As you can see, it's the same tone as this t-shirt. I wanted to play around with a smart casual look. The general feel for my outfits at the moment are slightly more tutorial, a little bit more smarter. So whilst hoodies are fantastic around the house, and of course they're very, very comfortable, I also wanted to showcase how you could style an item up like this in a slightly smarter way. The outfit that I've put together is definitely something that I would wear when I'm heading into London for meetings, if I was going to meet some friends for some food or some drinks. This is an item of clothing that has a lot of versatility, and I'm sure a hoodie is an item of clothing that the majority of you already have in your wardrobe. So today's outfit is a little bit Marmite. I think some of you are going to love it, some of you are going to hate it, but I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be styling this garment up, and then we'll jump into the next two pieces. So to layer up and give a slightly more elevated look, I'm going to be using a white shirt to run underneath the hoodie. So the idea here is just to flash a little bit of collar, and then to layer over the top of this completely, we're going to be using a nice unconstructed overcoat. The reason why I've decided to go for unconstructed rather than constructed is because whilst we are slightly elevating the look with this collar, I also want to ensure that I'm not completely ignoring that this is a hoodie, it's a slightly more casual garment, and so a unconstructed coat is going to keep that more casual feel, but also the style of the coat allows it to be dressed up or dressed down. I really enjoy dressing in neutral tones, and this tobacco overcoat with the unconstructed shoulders is the perfect item to complement against this grey. So again, if I just give a quick demonstration, you'll see how those three colours right here just sit really nicely together. You've got that pop of white, nice crisp white, then we've got the neutral grey, and then this tobacco just layering over the top. So this right here is the kind of foundation for the look. This is what I started to base my whole look around. And of course, we then move on to the trousers. Now, there were many options with the trousers. I could have done a lot here. I could have wore grey trousers, black trousers, jeans, but I decided to be a little bit more daring and go for these houndstooth trousers, which again, just work really nicely against the tobacco. They give a nice soft light look, and then just to finish the look off completely, I'm going to be wearing some loafers on my feet. So that's look one complete. The hoodie, just before I move on, has got a nice large pouch on the front of it. It's got a uniform shape, exactly what you'd expect. The hood is a nice size. There's no abnormal fashion shapes or cuts to this, which means you can dress it up with these more classic garments and it doesn't look out of place. The next item, a classic white t-shirt. This is also part of their essentials collection, and I didn't mention before, but if you look inside on the neck label, you'll be able to see all of the savings that have been made by Shopping Circular, which is something that some of you may be interested in, some of you may not, but ultimately this t-shirt's got a really nice neckline, as you can see. It's exactly the same as this t-shirt, so I use this as a demonstration. It's got a nice length sleeve on it as well. It's not too tight, not too fitted, but it's also not loose and baggy, it's not oversized. So, white t-shirt. I wanted to try and play around with an outfit that was suitable for winter, but also still had visibility on the white t-shirt, so I wasn't completely wrapped up and covering it. So to start the look off, I actually selected these black trousers here. So I had quite a monochrome start to the base or the foundation of my look. I then, for warmth and layering, went for this suede brown gilet. Again, those tones working really nicely together. And then over the top here, I've gone for a cashmere jacket. This is like a greeny browny colour. It worked really nicely against the gilet, as you can see. This look can be worn zipped and buttoned up, but equally it can also be sort of relaxed and opened up, especially if you were to move inside, just to allow that white t-shirt to have its moment. And then to give that extra element of warmth, I decided to go for a black beanie and some suede gloves. And then on the feet, I'm going to be wearing some brown leather boots. So that comprises look 2. Now the final garment that I wanted to work with was this navy polo. Now as you can see, this has got slightly larger collars than your typical polo. We've got the 3 buttons down the front, but apart from that, it's got that classic silhouette. And something that I was aware of when I put this on was that it had a slightly larger neckline. It looks nice and relaxed and chilled, so in the summer months it's going to work really nicely with some linen trousers, for example, or a nice pair of shorts. But we're layering up, it's winter time, so I wanted to play around and make the use of this neck space. So what I decided to do was grab this charcoal grey scarf, and I've actually worn this underneath, kind of like a cravat, I guess. And that's just keeping the neckline warm, but also making the most of the space within the polo. So it kind of sits underneath the top itself and then kind of like helps fill out that area. It also actually helped pronounce the collar of the polo because, as I say, it is nice and large. And then to help complement these two, so we've got the charcoal scarf and the navy top, I decided to go for this navy peacoat. The reason why I selected this was because I've actually paired up and colour matched. The lining of the collar on this is grey, so it works really nicely with the scarf. And then we've got the navy top with the navy jacket. So I then just needed to complete this look off. So again, I've gone for those brown boots. We're in the winter, we're gonna make sure that our feet are nice and warm. And then I've gone for my favorite trousers, which are my charcoal herringbone trousers here, which I feel look really nice against blue. It's just a color combination that I enjoy wearing. It looks very smart. And again, I'll chuck a pair of gloves on with these just to make sure that I'm staying warm. So that completes the 3 looks and the 3 garments from Again and Again that I wanted to sit down and talk to you about. If you want to go and see those looks complete, they're all going to be in one video over on my Instagram account. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Before we lose all of the light, I'm going to get busy filming. But if you do want to find out more information about Again and Again fashion, as always, I'll be leaving details to their website in the description box down below. But for now, I'm going to get cracking and I'll see you very soon. as you can see, I'm in my work attire. Not that you know what my work attire is. This is it. We're going to be heading out today to do a little bit more work on the shed. Finally, we have the doors on, which is fantastic. And I am going to get busy working on marking out where the cladding needs to go and getting some of that on, basically. I'm looking forward to getting out and getting started on that. I've been itching to try my new nail gun and my new skill saw and all the new kit that I brought. It actually would have been cheaper for me to have paid to have somebody come and do this work for this one job. However, I know that in the future there's going to be more projects that I'm going to need these tools for, and it's really handy to have them. And so long term, it's nice to have that bit of kit, but I didn't do it for any other reason really than I just quite fancied doing it. I wanted to get in there, make sure I still got it. I've definitely got softer hands than I used to. I get cut up quite easily now, but I've been using the Elizabeth Arden 8-hour cream. That stuff works miracles for me. I put it on all of my cuts and my dry hands, and it's one of the only products that really helps heal me. And so yeah, highly recommend that if you're struggling with any sort of like soreness or dryness or cracked hands or anything. It's a fantastic product. Before we head out, which by the way, it's been a very busy morning. I've headed out, I've been to the garden centre, I've been to the butcher because it's Valentine's week coming up and I'm going to be cooking for Lydia and I, so I brought a nice joint of beef for us. And I went to the wholesalers and the building merchants. So I've been here, there and everywhere this morning. Whilst I was out, I picked up this little bird feeder because we actually currently don't have our bird feeder out and we're looking at buying a new one for the house. And so I thought, whilst we're waiting to find the right feeder and work out where we want that to go, I just thought I'd hang one of these on the trees, especially in the winter months when the birds need the food the most. In the summer, they're spoiled for choice. They've got so many options. So I was actually advised to not necessarily feed the birds during the summer months, because during the summer months the birds get enough nutrients and they get a bit more of a diverse diet than eating the seeds, which are a nice, easy, accessible food source for them. And to actually say feeding them for in the winter months, so autumn, winter and the start of spring, give them food, and then during the summer months not as important. However, please don't take my word on that, do your own research. I'm not an expert, I just enjoy feeding the birds, and I was just advised by one of my neighbours that actually feeding them in the winter is much more important than feeding them in the summer, and logically that makes sense to me. So I'm just going to quickly fill this up and we'll get this hung on one of the trees. The reason I went for this is just because it's quite discreet, it's quite hidden, so as it's hanging it kind of just looks like a branch is falling down. Not quite sure what it looks like, but yeah, we'll get this out for them and then we'll get going. We've probably only got a couple of hours, maybe like 3 hours of work that we're going to be able to do today in the shed because light, but I had to get that stuff done this morning and I'm glad I did. I got a nice fresh leaf of Tiger Bloom, and so it was well worth the journey. But anyway, let's get this loaded and let's get out and get cracking on with today's tasks. Well, as you can see, we now have the doors on the shed, which are looking very nice. But today, we are going to be starting on cladding the inside of this wall. Now, because we're going to be having some worktops that run across, I'm going to be working down to probably about 8 to 850 high, because the worktop height's at 900. So we're going to be cladding from the top all the way down to around about where my finger is here. And then we'll slowly move our way around the room. I've not completely cleared it out because I'm not too optimistic, so we've only got a couple of hours. But yeah, let's get going and see how much we can get done. as you can see, it's dark outside and we have run out of wood. So I've managed to get this side wall completely cladded. I've done the top section of this wall. This is actually ripped down to 12mm and this is at 20mm, this wood. So these are actually different sizes. Ran out of that earlier, got to there. Technically I don't actually need to do any more cladding. I could just put a ply at the bottom because I believe, even though it's not set in stone, I'm going to have this section as a like a large sort of like storage space. So it wouldn't necessarily be essential, but we'll see. And then over here, this is essential. Hi, Lummy. We have 4 square meters left to do. So I just need to get a bit more of this stuff here, which it looks really cool. It's obviously old floorboards. The only difficulty with this is there's actually a tongue and groove on it. So I'm having to like layer the tongue and grooves in, but that's where we've got to today. You can see we've got this wall also done, and this probably gives you a better feel for kind of like what it's going to look like, this sort of section here, and then a corrugated roof I think will look quite nice. So that's the sort of vibe we're going for. She loves exploring new places. Good up there? This is wild, Lumi. All on edge when she's outside. Anywho, I'm going to tidy up because it's pitch black and I've got stuff everywhere, and it's Sunday and it's very late, so I'm going to get busy putting this back into here and tidying this up. I'm so disappointed I didn't get this done this weekend. I really thought I was going to. It's coming along though.